Welcome to today's TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Live. How are we all? Are we all good? It is Tuesday, the 1st of April. We are in a new month. No April Fools today, though. No, absolutely not. We are in a new month. The sun is shining. Life is all good. Hope you are all fit, healthy, well, smiling, loving life, as always. Yeah, I've had a good morning actually this morning. Busy morning. I was in the gym this morning for 6. So we've been in not 26, 20 to 7. We've been in the gym nice and early, so we've got that boxed off. I have just finished off building some Bossa protein boxes. Yes, 1st of April means a brand new Bossa protein box. Yeah, we've got a brand new Bossa protein box here. Easter themed Bossa protein box. There's a little Easter goodie in here and some Easter themed bars as well. If you want a Bossa protein box, TikTok profile, Facebook page, YouTube profile, get to my link tree is all you need to do. Scan down and it should say, I'll change it. I'll change it now. It might say pre-order. They're out. They're ready to go. I think there's about 10 left in stock after all the subscriptions have gone out. So if you want one, be quick. Yeah, it says April 2025. I'm going to put Easter protein box order now. Right? So get on it. If you want a Bossa protein box, and it will be in the post today. I'm ahead of the game this month with the old Bossa protein boxes. Right, let's do the top 5 on TikTok this morning. Number 1, Callum. Hannah's in at number 2, Amy's in at number 3, Sheila's in at number 4, and Kelly C, 79, is in at number 5. Guys, thank you very much as always for jumping straight on the live, coming and saying hello. This morning. This is only social media live, but I will be back at 5 p.m. If you are on plan or in the community, I will be back at 5 p.m. We're going to do it on Zoom again, and then I will save it back to the Facebook group and to YouTube. I just need to do my thumbnail. I did Thursdays is saved to YouTube, and I'll put the link out. But today we're doing getting the balance of your diet right. Okay, so I always say this, you can eat whatever you want to lose weight, but that doesn't necessarily mean you should. All right, so you can eat what you want, but the way you get, if you get the balance of your diet right, that is massively gonna help with your weight loss journey. And yeah, and in that live, I'm going to talk about things that you should prioritize, you know, the way you should look at things. Yeah. Anyway, come join. If you're not involved in the community or on plan, come get signed up and you can come and watch that weight loss live. Hello, Bloss. What are you doing? Yes, the needy cockapoo is here. She's staring at me. She's got her head on my desk. You can come around and say hello if you want. She'll come around and say hello in a minute. Right, let's say some other good mornings to everyone this morning. James is in. Morning, mate. Chip Away's in. Morning. Donna, Lee's, good morning, good morning. Jones in, good morning. Anna, I know you sent me a message. I will get back to you this morning. Steph GC, good morning. Kelly C feels so off today. Oh, Kelly, sorry you're having a bad day already. Karen G, good morning. Who else in? Paula's in. Faye's in. Morning, 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 morning. Anyone else in this morning? Have I missed you? If I have missed you, please don't take it personal. It's not personal. Claire's in. Hello, Claire. Good morning. No, I think I've caught you all. Yeah, I think I've caught you all. Jackie's in. Good morning, Jackie. Yeah, so it is the 1st of April. It is Tuesday. How did your Monday go if I didn't see you last night? I had a good Monday yesterday. I finished off on about 1,800 calories. I was pretty low yesterday. I've said my target, I don't know if you've watched my weekly weight loss vlog, go watch it. It came out yesterday on the old YouTube. But I sort of said this week, because I've got a bit of a party going on Saturday night, I'm going to go and have a few drinks. It's going to be a little bit more calorific than a normal weekend. Very conscious this week of banking. So I am trying not to eat more than 2,100 calories a day. Anything under that is a bonus. So yesterday I had about 1,800 calories. So I banked 800 calories yesterday for the weekend. The knock-on effect of that is I am quite hungry today, but I'm still going to try and stick to my 2,100 calories. I have got my eating planned out. I will be having my great big yogurt bowl after this live. My lunch today is, I think, I'm either going to have the naked burrito from Aldi, no, Lidl, for lunch and review it for worth the calories because I've been meaning to have it for ages. Or the recipe for this week. So I'm either filming, the recipe will be out tomorrow evening. I'm either filming it today or tomorrow. I am doing my Philly cheesesteak wrap. So that might be lunch today if I decide to record it. I've got to go and get my hair cut. I've got to go and get my hair cut. So I'll see how we're doing for time. I will. That could be lunch, or the naked burrito could be lunch. This afternoon, I'm going to hit up some fruit. So I'm going to have quite a bit of fruit this afternoon, and I might even have a second yogurt bowl. I've not even planned. Let me track my calories. In fact, I'll do it on my iPad, and then I'm not ignoring you guys on Facebook or YouTube. I have charged my iPad up last night. Right, I'm going to get, not that you can see this. Let me have a little look. I'll show you as best as I can. Right, so let's get my NutriCheck up. Let's track today. So, I've not eaten a thing yet today, and I'm flipping hungry because I have what's it got? Oh, here we are. Right, it's working. Right, breakfast. So, dead simple tracking today. I'm going to go to my meals. I'm going to go to my snacks. And I'm having what I call my natural Manjaro bowl for breakfast. I'm going to stick that in for breakfast. I'm also going to stick that in straight away for my afternoon snack because I might have 2 of them today because it's mega filling. And like I say, I'm trying to stick to 2,000. What am I trying to stick to? I'm trying to stick to 2,100 calories today. And I want to be full. I don't want to be hungry. So let's go in with that. Now, that can go. I've got tea in from the other night that I was tracking for Rachel. Tea tonight. Let's get tea tonight in. Tea tonight, we're having jacket potato, cheesy beans. So let me go potatoes. Jacket potato, I'm going to be having a 300 gram jacket spud because I've already weighed it. Right. Beans is going to be Bramwell's. Cheese, I'm just gonna do. I'm gonna put a little bit of all sorts in cheese-wise. I've got some reduced fat, mature cheddar, right? So I'm gonna put in 30 grams of that. Right. So let's put that in, and then I'm actually gonna put in a cheese slice from Aldi because they melt and they go amazing. So let's put that in as well. So tea's 553 calories, but I've not put any additional protein in. I don't know whether I will. I might just go jacket potato, cheesy beans, and a great big side salad. Right. Let me go into my meals and see if my Philly cheesesteak is saved in here. It should be because it's one of my recipes. It's not. It must be somewhere. It might not actually. I don't know if I've done it in. I haven't. Where did I do all my recipes? I might have done it in starters. Let's have a look. Here it is. Philly triple cheese steak wrap. I was trying to remember what I call it. 125 grams, and it is 505 calories, 45.7 grams of protein, and 4.8 grams of fiber. Let me just make sure I've got all the ingredients. I put mini baby bell in, a cheese slice in there. And right, I'm going to change that. I am going to change the Philly cheesesteak wrap. I'm going to do it slightly different. Right, anyway, I'm just going to put that one in now for dinner so I can sort of see. And this is what I'm doing, if you can see here. So, I'm putting my YouTube on. So if you can see here, I am just tracking my calories, tracking away. At the moment, we're at 1,800. That's good. So I've got 300 calories to play with. I need some protein for tonight. So I think I'm just going to have some plain chicken because it's extremely low calorie and high protein. So I'm going to have 150 grams of chicken. Put that in for my tea. Right, so that is big yogurt bowl for breakfast. My Philly cheesesteak wrap for my lunch. That is going to actually, I'm going to change that, and it might be slightly less calories than what it's coming in as. I'm going to have another yogurt bowl mid-afternoon, and then I'm going to have my jacket potatoes, cheese beans, chicken, and salad for my tea. 712 calories. That has me at 1,959 calories. So I've still got 150 to kind of play with. There you go. Tracking. I'm all good. Neil, sorry about mix-up yesterday. Audrey, not a problem at all. I have just sent you your calories. So I've just done your calorie breakdown, and then I'll WhatsApp you today, Audrey, and I'll add you to the... you've already added yourself, I think, to the community, and then I'll add you to my broadcast message group as well. And not all, but you're in now. You're in now, and I've just sent you your calories, so check out your email. Any questions, fire them over. Obviously, if you join my community, you don't get one-to-one coaching. You get access to the community, so you can come and talk to me. We have a WhatsApp weight loss group, like weight loss Q&A groups. If you want to ask me any questions, ask them in the group and tag me in when I've added you to WhatsApp. You can also come on the Zoom session, which is this week, is tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Is it 8 p.m. tomorrow? Is it 8:30 tomorrow? I have no idea. Was it nighttime or morning last week? I think it's nighttime. I think it's the 8 p.m. one tomorrow night. Let me have a look. I might do it a little bit earlier. It is. It's 8 p.m. tomorrow night is the Zoom session. So you can come on the Zoom. You can come on the Zoom as well and ask me any questions on the Zoom. And you don't have to come on video. A lot of people panic about Zoom. Like, oh, I don't want to come on video. You don't have to. We have a chat feature as well on Zoom, so you can come on there. So you can ask me. You just don't get to WhatsApp me directly. But when I send you your initial calories, if after receiving your initial calories, you have got a quick question about them, email me back and I will answer that one. Yeah? If you email me back and ask me loads of specifics about weight loss, that is where then you need to move up to the one-to-one plan. But, like I say, if you've just got any quick questions about your calories after I've initially email me back, it's fine. Is that if you sub? Yeah, if you sub JK to the community. It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. It's $9.99 after that if you want to stay in the community. But there is no contract. You can cancel any time. And the big advantage of the community is I do weight loss coaching lives in there. We do a weekly Zoom session. Look, you'll get out of the community exactly what you put in. If you don't get involved, if you don't come on the Zoom sessions, you don't watch the coaching lives, you don't interact with the guys in the community. There's over 400 people in there. There's over 400 people on the Facebook group. Not everyone that joins the community goes into WhatsApp. So there's over 200 people in the WhatsApp community. It is a busy space. So I do recommend if you join the community and you go into the WhatsApp groups, mute them. You can still interact. You'll still get, you can still go and see other conversations. You just won't get loads of messages. All right. But it really is a great place. If you just want a bit of extra accountability and support, to be successful at anything, you need to surround yourself with like-minded people. And that's what the community is all about. Now, if you join my one-to-one plan, you get the community included in my one-to-one plan. All right? So that is included in there for you. But the big advantage of the one-to-one plan is, let me just move my phone so I'm kind of in line so I can look at both. The big advantage of the one-to-one plan is you then also get me directly as a coach. So if you're on my one-to-one plan and you want to message me, you can through WhatsApp. You don't have to wait for a Zoom session or a weight loss coaching live, or you don't have to wait for you don't have to message through the WhatsApp weight loss Q&A group. You can message me directly. Also with the one-to-one plan, you get to check in with me every couple of weeks. So every couple of weeks, you can send your bits and pieces over to me. You can send your bits and pieces over to me. How long do you send the check-in sheets? Every 2 weeks. Someone's just emailed me now saying, quick question. How often do you send your updated progress sheets? You get an updated progress sheet every even check-in. All right, so every even check-in. Why hasn't Jane had one since the 3rd? So she should have had one on the 17th. I'll look into that. And then she should get one this month. So yeah, so every even check-in, you should get a updated progress sheet. If you don't get if it's an even check-in and you don't get a progress sheet, please WhatsApp me. I've just missed your name off the list for some unknown reason. Michelle Hanks, good morning, boss. Good morning. I'll get back to Jane after this live. Demi, good morning to you too. What's your opinion on fasting? It's pointless. It really is pointless. Like, look, when I say it's pointless, the only thing fasting does is help you to control your calories. And for me personally, there's much better ways to help you control your calories. And it depends why you're asking me about fasting. If you're asking me about fasting because you think it helps you to lose more body fat, it doesn't, right? It really, really doesn't. When calories are matched, fat loss is the same. It doesn't matter what diet you're doing, right? It doesn't matter if you cut carbs out. It doesn't matter if you do fasting. It doesn't matter if you have shakes. If you eat 2,000 calories, but you don't eat carbohydrates, and you eat 2,000 calories a day on average, and you eat carbs, fat loss is exactly the same, right? Your fat loss will be exactly the same, all right? So, it depends what if you say, well, is fasting more healthy for you? No. Does it increase fat loss? No, right? It's when calories are matched. The advantage of fasting is it's a tool to help you control your calorie intake. That's it. But for most people, it's unsustainable. If you're going to do a 16-8, the most sustainable way to do fasting is 16-8, right? Which is basically an 8-hour eating window and 16 hours not eating. And with that, you generally eat between 12 p.m. and 8 p.m. And what that tends to do for people is, it's calorie control. It means you don't eat breakfast, right? So, if you're someone that has 300, 400, 500 calories for breakfast, that's saving you that amount of calories. Likewise, if you're someone that over snacks at night time, right, then you're not going to eat. If you're someone that gets on the couch at 9 p.m., that's when you really struggle to control your eating. If you decide to eat something, you're not going to do that because you're only allowed to eat between 12 and 8 p.m. You're still going to get lunch in. You're still going to get tea in. You could technically get an evening snack in if you have it at 5 to 8 at night time. So out of all fasting methods, the 16-8, 12 p.m. till 8 p.m. method is probably the most sustainable, but it still becomes quite unsustainable for a lot of people. So, for example, yesterday, for example, for me today, I'm hungry. Right? I've just been to the gym, I've trained. I only had 1,800 calories yesterday, and I feel hungry this morning. Sometimes hunger can be psychological, but for me this morning, it isn't psychological. I'm hungry. For me to sit here now and have to wait till 12 p.m. to eat would be physical and mental torture. I don't want, and it's distracting. It's non-productive. Like, I'm sitting outside now doing this live, and I'm still in the back of my head thinking a little bit about food, right? And that'll get worse the more hungry I get. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. Is it going to harm me not eating until 12 p.m.? No. Is it going to kill me? Absolutely not. But I don't want to feel hungry. It's not a nice feeling. And by doing that and over restricting myself could cause overeating, right? So, I'm going to go after this at about 9:30, 10:15. I'm going to have a great big 370 calorie yogurt bowl. And that's going to fill me up. It's going to take away any food noise. And that will keep me going till I have my lunch, which is going to be about 1:30 today, right? Because I've got to go and get my hair cut and a few other bits and pieces. So it's different strokes to different folks. And it's kind of one of them. The last thing I ate last night was my tea, right? That was the last thing I ate last night, which was, when did I have tea? I had it quite late last night. It was about 7:15. So I am fasting. I've not eaten. By the time I eat this morning, it'll be 14, 15 hours. I'm not doing it on purpose, right? It's just, I had my tea last night at about 7:15, and I've not eaten. Well, I've just had 2 gummies, I suppose, thingy gummies. So, my thing is, my philosophy with eating is I eat quite intuitively. And what I mean by intuitive eating, I know people have different sort of things for intuitive eating, but my idea of intuitive eating is I kind of eat when I'm hungry. Now, if you eat at regular times, your body does get used to that, right? So if you always have your dinner at 12 p.m., your body will start releasing hunger hormones at 12 p.m. to say you're hungry. Your body does get used to that. I don't really have any set patterns of eating. Sunday night, I had my tea at 5:15. Last night, I had it at 6:45, right? Some mornings, I will have breakfast at 8:30, 9:00. Some mornings, I will have breakfast at 10, 11:00. So because I don't really have any set patterns for eating, when I'm hungry, I know I'm hungry. Right? It's not a cycle. We can get we can get physical hunger, which is what I'm feeling now, and we can get psychological hunger. How do we know the difference between physical hunger and psychological hunger? Right? Well, you've just got to be a little bit honest with yourself. So if I have my big yogurt bowl after this live at 9:30, and at 11:30 this morning, I'm hungry, that's more psychological hunger than physical hunger. Because 2 hours ago, I'll have consumed over 40 grams of over 30 grams of protein, over 15 grams of fiber, and over a pound of food in weight. I'm not going to be hungry 2 hours after that, physically, right? That is, the amount of protein, the amount of fiber, it's slow digesting, it's loads of volume. I'm just not. So if I'm hungry at 11:30 today, that would be more psychological hunger. The fact that I know I've not eaten for 14, 15 hours and I only ate 1,800 calories yesterday tells me that now that I'm hungry, that is physical hunger. I should be hungry. If I've only eaten 1,800 calories yesterday and I burned 3,500 calories in a day, so I was in a 1,700 calorie deficit yesterday, right? And I've not eaten for 14 hours, yeah, I should be hungry. So I know that that's physical hunger. So, you kind of got to use your noggin a little bit, right? You've kind of got to use your noggin a little bit when it comes to differentiating. If it's psychological hunger, that's when willpower can kick in a bit and you've got to fight it. If it's physical hunger, yes, you can fight it with willpower. I could not eat till 12 p.m. today, but I don't want it. It'll be horrible. It'll distract me from my work. I'll be underproductive, if that's the right word. Less productive than I want to be. And I don't want that feeling. It's not a good feeling. It's a negative emotion feeling hungry, Anyway, there we go. Carol's in, morning, Boston. East is in. Good morning. Thank you. I was just looking into it, but you've just confirmed what I thought already. Yeah, Tracy, I think a lot of people, when we're desperate to achieve something, and most people are desperate to have successful weight loss, we become very easily influenced, right? We become very easily influenced. So you might watch someone that's a good salesman on social media and they're talking about fasting, they're talking about the carnivore diet, they're talking about the keto diet, and we get waylaid and yeah, we're very, very easily influenced. And you've probably watched some content and you're like, oh, I'll try that. Stop looking at crazy diets. Just stick to a healthy, sustainable calorie deficit, enjoy some of the foods you love, improve your overall diet, eat a bit of protein and a bit of fiber with most main meals. That's all you need to do. And you just need to be consistent with it. Know what 95% of people that try fad diets, and I've not labeled it a fad diet, aren't consistent. And there's a reason for it. It's the method. Stop looking. Who's still here now on one of these lives, whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, or TikTok, you're looking for the magic. Who's looking for that miracle cure still? Who is literally like, this doesn't work for me, that doesn't work for me, that doesn't. Yeah, inconsistency doesn't work for anybody. And jumping from fad diet to fad diet to fad diet ain't gonna work. Ain't gonna work. Stop it. Right? Just use a healthy, sustainable method. Right? It really is that simple. Doesn't mean it's easy. I'm not saying any way to lose weight is easy, but there are easier methods than others. And rather than bouncing from fad diet to fad diet to fad diet, just accept what is a healthy, sustainable way to lose weight. Literally, you burn this many calories, eat a few less. That's it. You don't need to trick, again, how many of you guys on this live now think you have to trick your body into weight loss? Like, oh, I can't eat carbs. It's garbage. Not one of you whether you're watching on TikTok, YouTube, or you're watching on Facebook, none of you defy the laws of physics. You might think you do, and I hate to break it to you, you're not that special. There isn't one person on this planet that can defy the laws of physics, right? And that's what you're basically saying. If you say I can't lose weight eating carbs, you're saying you defy the laws of physics. You don't, right? If you say I can't lose weight sticking to an amount of calories, you can. You're lying to yourself, right? But again, we've been easily influenced for years and years and years because we're vulnerable and desperate to believe that, carbs make us fat, to believe that calorie counting doesn't work. Again, how many of you guys say calorie counting doesn't work, but you've tried to do it by eating 1,000 calories a day? That's a fad diet. Fad diets don't work for consistency. Would that be the same advice if I'm taking Mounjaro? Absolutely. Mounjaro isn't a cure. It's a tool to help slow. All Mounjaro does for weight loss, the basics. I will give you the basics, right? Mounjaro slows down the digestion of food. So whereas food might normally leave your stomach in, let's say, 2 hours, if you're taking Mounjaro, it takes 4 hours, right? It's not as cut and shut as that, but that's how you need to look at it, right? And the longer food sits in here, the fuller you feel. The knock-on effect of you feeling fuller, right, is it has two knock-on effects. Number one, it helps to control your hormone ghrelin, which is your hunger hormone, right? And number two, if you are not constantly hungry, it helps to reduce food noise. It will also help to reduce psychological hunger, but if you're not eating correctly, I've got a client message me yesterday. They've been taking Mounjaro, they're only on the loading dose, and they basically said their suppression is fine and they are feeling fuller and they are being able to make better choices, but they are still thinking about food 24/7 because they've still got that psychological hunger, that psychological emotional eating need for food. And again, it's just something we have to work on. So yes, it is that whether you have bariatric surgery, you need to eat less calories than you burn to lose fat. Whether you're taking Mounjaro, and it's even more essential if you're taking something like if you're using an unnatural tool, what are you going to do when you stop taking it? It is even more imperative if you're taking a weight loss injection to understand healthy, sustainable calorie allowances, changing overall lifestyle, because you have to stop taking Mounjaro at some point in time, right? Because whether you want to stop taking it or there's loads of reasons why you might stop taking it. Side effects as you ramp the dose up might be too severe. Cost, you might be fine spending 150 quid a month now, but in 12 months' time, your situation might change and you can't afford it anymore. So it's not a permanent solution. It is something that to start off with, and confidence can drive us on our weight loss journey. And what I mean by that is, I don't like the words. I don't like it where people say, I'm going to eat 1,000 calories a day to kickstart my weight loss. But if you can use a tool and you have to understand it's a tool, because again, if you think the only way I can lose weight, you've got to get out of this mindset. The only way I can lose weight is by not eating carbs. The only way I can lose weight is by taking a weight loss injection. Nonsense, right? These are just, by not eating carbs, you're reducing your calorie intake. By using Mounjaro, you're reducing your calorie intake. Two different reasons for reducing calorie intake. But I will always say this, what are you going to do in 18 months? Right? Let's say you currently weigh 250 pounds. You start taking a weight loss injection, right? Officially, by the time you get your BMI gets down to 24.9, we talked about this last night, your prescriber, your supplier should then start talking to you about coming off it. Because if your BMI gets to 24.9 or less, you shouldn't be on it, right? Unless you're on it for diabetes and you've not reversed your diabetes yet, you should be looking at coming off it. So let's say you're 250 pounds and your current BMI is 35, right? And you lose 50, 60 pounds and you get down to 190 and your BMI is 24, right? Or 25, right? Now you need to come off it. What are you going to do when you come off it? Let's say you've been on Mounjaro for 6 months. What permanent changes have you made in your lifestyle that's then going to allow you to maintain your losses when you stop taking the injection? Because you are going to stop. Because even if financially you can always afford Mounjaro, even if the side effects don't get too bad that you want to stay on it, at some point in time, you will become immune to the suppression. It won't work. It will stop working, and you'll need to come off it. Now, you might go back on it in 18 months' time when it's got out of your system and the suppression will work again. But you're gonna have to come off it at some point, you know. Gail, thank you. You're more than welcome. I spent 2 months in Spain and put on £2 only. Denise, we're loving that. We're absolutely loving that. That's all good. Right, let me scan down some of this. Calorie counting has been life-changing for me. 1 stone, 4.5 pounds down since January and not restricted at all. Amy, absolutely amazing. And that is exactly how you should feel. You've got great results on the scales. You've lost 18.5 pounds since January, which is healthy, sustainable fat loss for most people. You know, I would say about £1 a week. It's been 13 weeks since the beginning of January. Amy's lost a little bit more than what I would class as health, but nothing ridiculous for me to go, that's unsustainable. And that's because, Amy, you're doing this in the right way. Now, alongside this calorie counting, I don't know how severe your weight issue is, but you need to, like I say, tackle the psychological side of things. You need to, always tackle the reason why you have a weight issue in the first place. That's something else people miss out on, you know. I think I've found a lifestyle change thanks to you. I've learned to maintain. And Denise, yeah, if you've gone to Spain for 2 months, and I know you may not have treated it like a pure, if you go somewhere for 2 months to escape the winter or whatever, you'll probably have a bit more balance than if you just go for a week and hit it hard for a week. But we've got to learn to maintain our losses. We've got to learn to control our calorie intake, and you've got to learn to maintain your losses. Otherwise, you're just going to be yo-yo dieting all your life. Lose weight, gain weight, lose weight, gain weight, I've got 3 dress sizes, but scales are not moving much. What do you mean by not moving much? A lot of people say the scales aren't moving much when they've actually moved quite a bit, right? So what do you mean by not moving much? Now, don't get me wrong, right? Eating healthier, moving more, you might not lose loads of weight, but your body kind of tightens up a little bit. I normally have a sponge. When I was in my old office, I had a sponge and I've tidied everything out. So to show an example, but basically, this kind of isn't a great example. But if you look at this is a cloth for polishing glasses. If you look at this, right, yeah, that is just sort of roughly folded up, right? And it'll weigh a couple of grams maybe, or a gram, right? When you start eating healthier, moving more, which most people tend to when they're on a weight loss journey, your body tightens itself up. So if I crush this down like that, I've not removed anything from it. It still weighs exactly the same, but it just takes up less space because I've condensed it down. I've sort of like tightened it up. Your body does the same, right? So that can, now don't get me wrong, that'll only go so far, right? But could that be enough? It depends what your current weight is. Could that be enough for some people for their could that be is it enough to lose a dress size or 2? Yeah. And again, you've put the scales haven't dropped much. Well, and then you might come back to me and go, well, actually the scales have dropped 10 pounds. Well, if your body's tightened up because you're eating healthy and moving more, and you've lost an additional 10 pounds, is that enough to drop 2 or 3 dresses? For some people, it could be, So there's always an answer. There's always an answer, I get quite a lot of people that come online and go, I've been in a calorie deficit for 6 weeks and I've lost no weight. And then I'm like, what do you mean you've lost no weight? Well, I've lost 10 pounds, but that's hardly anything, is it? I'm like, no, 10 pounds is really, really good. So many people are like so harsh on themselves when it comes to actual physical amounts of weight loss, you know. But yeah, if you lose 10 pounds, it's great, you know, in 6 weeks. Fantastic. My sugar levels are creeping up as I get older, so I've cut right down and I'm not as hungry. What do you mean your sugar levels are creeping up, Denise, as you get older? Why are you diabetic? Do you test your sugars all the time? What do you mean? How do you how do you know your sugar levels are creeping up? Yeah, your blood sugar. No, I know what you mean blood sugars, but why are you testing your blood sugars? Are you diabetic? And if you do test your blood sugars, do you always test them fasted? I'm a size 14 now, and I've not been that for years. Yeah, Maureen, you've had a really good journey, and like I say, we're more about keeping you accountable, Maureen, and maintaining. No, I'm not diabetic. Why are you testing your blood sugars then? Just out of interest. And what do you mean by the creeping up? And when you're testing your blood sugars, and I'm asking that, you know, I'm like, there's absolutely no need to test it, you know, blood sugar, unless you're unless your fasted blood glucose is putting you in a pre-diabetic range, you don't need to worry about it. And I know you said there about, I think you put, my sugar levels are creeping up as I get older, so I've cut right down. Right down on what? There's absolutely zero relation really between, again, don't get, a lot of people think glucose in our blood and caster sugar are the same thing. They are two totally different things, right? A nurse tells me it's going towards pre-diabetic. Get my bloods done. Right, so you get your bloods done by the nurse. First question, and I know so many people, when you've ever had your bloods done by a nurse or a doctor, and they've come back, have you always done it fasted? That is so important. Because, you know, I have to get my bloods done for my prescription medication. And I went a couple of weeks ago to get them done. And it was about 2:00 in the afternoon. And the nurse said to me, said, right, we're getting your bloods done. I have to have it done every 12 months for my prescription meds. And she said, while we're at it, I'll run tests for your blood. I said, there's no point. She went, why? I said, I ate an hour and a half ago. And she went, right. I said, there's absolutely zero point running my bloods to see where my blood glucose level is. I ate an hour and a half ago and I ate 80, 90 grams of carbohydrates. So, and that was straight after the gym. So I ate actually white rice, which is quite a high glycemic carb. And she just looked at me like, I don't know what you're talking about, Neil. And I'm like, and I literally said, I know the nurse by the way. And I wasn't being a knob when I said it, but I just said it's pointless. I said, if you want to test my bloods, to test my gluten, I need to be at least 12 hours fasted. At least 12 hours fasted. So can I book another appointment for 9? And she went, no. She said, once I've done your bloods for your prescription, she said, we wouldn't get you in again. I said, right, well, don't bother testing them then. But next year, if you're going to run a health check for me, I'll make sure my appointment's at 9 a.m. and I won't eat anything 12 hours before. So you can actually get a level. You know, I had a client the other week message me saying, "Oh, I've just got my blood results back," and I literally said to her, "I said, did you have your bloods done fasted?" They went, "No, I went just after lunch." I said, "Well, it's absolutely pointless. Don't panic about it. Of course, your resting blood glucose is going to be higher because you've just eaten. You know, even if you've not eaten carbohydrates, proteins and fats raise your blood glucose. You know, so it's just." But they say new test, you don't need to fast. You do need to fast. It's an absolute fallacy, right? Why are they saying you don't? What's the reason behind it? Of course, you need to fast, right? Your blood glucose levels to test you for diabetes, right? It's only the only time you ever need to worry about your blood glucose levels is if they are at a certain level fasted. Because when we eat, blood sugars should go up. It's a natural response from the body, right? I think your nurse is telling you porcupines there because she just wants you to do your bloods done. If you're testing bloods for diabetes, it should be fasted, 100%. Because there's no brand new, they're just running to see what your current blood glucose level is, right? And unless you then go to your a nutritionist and go, well, I ate 80 grams of these carbs an hour and a half before I had my bloods done, and 50 grams of the carbohydrates were high glycemic, 50% of the carbs were mid glycemic. How do they know? They don't know. They're just shooting in the dark all the time. So that is an absolute load of garbage, right? That is an absolute load of garbage. Blood sugars should always be done fasted, and if they're not, ignore it. Yeah. I'm diabetic and go for bloods first thing in the morning. 100%. That's when you go. You go fasting. Or if you literally can't get an appointment to have your bloods done till 2 p.m., you can't eat till 2 p.m. Always get your bloods done fasted. And if you don't get them done fasted, the data that's coming out around diabetes and blood glucose levels is a load of nonsense. Right? It's a load of nonsense. I always say that to my mum. My mum's always panicking. My mum, right, does not get up in the morning, right? She shouldn't need to. She's 80 this year, right? So, my mum's 80. She does not get out of bed till about 10, 11 in the morning. She loves that. She goes to bed dead late. She's always been in that pattern. I don't know why. She literally, even now, nearly 80, she goes to bed about 1 o'clock in the morning. She gets up at like 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. She doesn't rush in the morning. And any doctor's appointment she has is after lunch. And she's had her bloods done for years and years and years. And she has been sat pre-diabetic for years and years and everything. Oh, the nurse keeps telling me my blood sugar's high. I'm like, Mum, you've been pre-diabetic for 10 years, right? Because you have your blood sugars done in the middle of the afternoon after you've had breakfast and after you've had lunch, right? If you had an issue with your diet, right, and putting you at risk, your pre-diabetes you would have gone to being type 2 diabetic within 10 years, right? You haven't. It's just that your blood sugars, if you're always going to go and have your bloods done at 2 p.m. after eating breakfast and eating lunch, you are always going to be sat in a pre-diabetic level because your blood, it's a natural response from the body. And my mum does eat a lot of carbohydrates, right? She always has porridge generally for a breakfast or toast, and for a lunch, she's just old school. She'll have egg on toast or a bowl of soup with a slice of bread or something like that. She's always going to be sat in that pre-diabetic. So I said, and I've told, and like I say, every time says the blood's done, the nurse tells me I'm pre-diabetic. I said, does your nurse never question why you've been sat in pre-diabetes blood sugar levels for 10 years and it's never developed into type 2 diabetes? I'm not saying that will always be the case. Sometimes people can have, I've got a mate of mine. He is fit, healthy, well, he's insulin resistant. He's basically, his pancreas does not quite work. It's never been as bad as, type 1 diabetes, but his pancreas just doesn't, like some people have heart defects, some people's lungs just aren't as good as other people's, some people have, different bits and pieces. He's fit, he's healthy, he's well, and he's always sat pre-diabetic because he has very mild insulin resistance, and he's not overweight. He's actually pretty lean. It just is the way it is. So if I'm told I'm pre-diabetic after fasting, what should I do? Right. If you are told you are pre-diabetic after fasting, then generally you've got some sort of insulin resistance. First thing we look at is your visceral fat levels, right? If your weight, yeah. Because that is why we tend to be pre-diabetic. It's not generally down to diet, right? It's down to high visceral. I talk about this all the time. This is your pancreas, right? Visceral fat is fat that surrounds our vital organs, right? So, and how do you know you've got high levels of visceral fat? Your tummy will push out, right? So if you've got a tummy, right, and I'm not talking about a muffin top or anything like that. I'm talking about a tummy, right? If visceral fat tends to push your tummy out, right? So if you've got high levels of visceral fat surrounds your vital organs. It surrounds your liver, it surrounds your pancreas, it surrounds your appendix, your intestines, your stomach. It's fat that gathers inside the body around your midsection. And that fat will affect how you're different. It can affect how your liver works. It can affect how your, let's say, how your pancreas works. It causes hormone imbalances by suffocating different organs so they can't work as effectively. It's a bit like, if you've got, it's a bit like a fire. If you have a real fire in your house, right, and you put a fire guard up, to kind of protect it, to limit the heat coming out of it, or you've got it's basically creates like a force field around your organ, and it stops it working efficiently, right? So if this is your pancreas and you've got high levels of visceral fat, the visceral fat is suffocating your pancreas and it stops it working properly, and that is the main cause of insulin resistance. So if someone comes to me and goes, right, I'm pre-diabetic, what should I do? I would basically say to him, right, let's have a look at your BMI. I know BMI is it's very archaic and it's not a good thing, but generally, we'd have a look at your BMI. We'd have a look at your current weight. If you've got some biometric impedance scales, we'd have a look at what your visceral fat levels are, and that would be the first port of call. And if they're higher than they should be, right, you need to lose some body fat, you need to lose some weight. All right, that would be my first port of call. Right, we could then look at overall diet. Yeah. So basically, a lot of people think diet causes diabetes. It doesn't. But the way you eat, we would need to support you sticking to a calorie deficit for weight loss. So we would look at your overall diet. We'd also look at your movement. Right. Big trend between people that are pre-diabetic that are lazy. And again, I'm not trying to be rude when I say, but it is the honest truth. I used to have a client, and if you looked at her, she doesn't really have a massive weight issue at all, right? But where she did store body fat was in a midsection. She was type 2, she'd just been diagnosed type 2 diabetic. Like I say, she had quite thin arms, quite thin legs, but she did have quite a bit of body fat in her midsection. You could say that. So that's causing some insulin resistance. And she literally averaged 4,000 to 5,000 steps a day. And overall, she didn't really overconsume calories, but the calories she did consume weren't the healthiest. So first port of call is weight loss. Second port of call really is looking at movement, exercise, right? And then third port of call, we just want to improve your overall diet a little bit. That's it, yeah? Does visceral fat come off the same as subcutaneous fat at a time? Yeah, it does. Like, you can't spot target fat. Your body just loses fat where it loses fat. Right? So fat that's in your shoulders, in your arms, in your bum, in your thighs, in your calves is subcutaneous fat. Fat that's in your midsection, you will have some subcutaneous fat that sits on subcutaneous fat is fat that sits under your skin. You will have some of that in your midsection, but mainly it's it's internal fat. And yeah, fat just comes off where it wants to come off, And if you get down to your weight loss goal, it should basically come off in every area. There is some evidence out there that I talked about this last night, that if you have if you do quite a good decent bit of cardiovascular exercise, so we use body fat for energy. So we'll use visceral fat for energy, and we will use subcutaneous fat for energy. Different types of movement that we do will there is some evidence out there that says if you do cardiovascular exercise, which is why it's important to increase your movement and do some regular exercise if you're diabetic, will target more visceral fat for energy than subcutaneous fat, right? So you might be overweight, but you might exercise on a regular basis, right? And you might have higher than what we would class as healthy body fat. But if you exercise on a regular basis, that body fat might be more subcutaneous fat than visceral fat. And therefore, your organs will work effectively. Yeah. How long does water retention last on the scales, roughly? How long is a piece of fish? Right. It really is that sort of question. If you've done anything just to the body retains 60% water because that's what the body is. It's about 60% of water. But if you eat in a certain way, or you drink alcohol, or you don't drink enough fluids for a couple of days, you might gain what we call excess water retention. You can get rid of that in a few hours by getting rehydrated again. But some people, it can take a few days to get rehydrated. Some people, it can take a few hours. It's not something you need to worry about. If you're just consistent with what we do, every now and then, you'll gain most people tend to gain, especially if you follow my advice, where we do a bit more of a lower calorie week, and then we have a bit more food freedom at the weekend. Most people that follow that advice will carry a bit of excess water retention on a Monday morning, because they've had a bit more food freedom over the weekend. They'll also carry a bit more food weight. So your weight's going to be a little bit more accurate on a Monday than it would be, say, on a Thursday or a Friday. One of the reasons why I get my, hi, why does it not improve cellulite on ladies when you lose weight? Why does what not improve cellulite? What, fat loss? Again, it's subjective. For some ladies it does, for some ladies it doesn't. Fat loss is subcutaneous fat. Cellulite is basically just ripples in the skin. And there's lots of conditions. Cellulite isn't necessarily caused by being overweight. There's lots of healthy ladies in the world. Men get cellulite as well, by the way. But it is more prominent on females than males. But cellulite necessarily isn't a weight thing. It's just part of the body. It's just a natural part of the body. So it doesn't make you any less of a person. It doesn't make you any less attractive to the opposite sex. It's just something that kind of you get in your head a little bit. Oh, I've turned me live off, right? But so, some people, when they lose weight, my body's covered in stretch marks, right? I was covered in stretch marks at 37 stone. 19 stone, I'm still covered in stretch marks. It's just part of the body. It's just, don't get me wrong, those stretch marks are caused by my obesity and because my skin has lost some of its elasticity and it hasn't snapped back. But it's just is what it is. Me having stretch marks doesn't make me less of a person. It doesn't make my mortgage more expensive. Whether I have them or not doesn't make me any more happier. Right? We get really we'll always look at different things and think, it isn't, I love your Aldi videos. You have gave me so many new ideas. Thank you, Lindsay. Not a problem at all. And that's what a lot of my content on Instagram and Facebook is about food ideas. I think a lot of people get bored we have this misconception about weight loss food. And a lot of people, food's very, very boring for a lot of people. And we have that, association. For me to lose weight, I have to eat lettuce. I have to eat grilled chicken. And you don't. You really, really don't. You need to eat in a calorie deficit. Now, don't get me wrong. We should, prioritize eating as healthy as possible. What some people class as being really healthy, I don't. A lot of people are like, oh, just eat whole foods and just do this. And in an ideal world, that might be the best way to be the healthiest we can be. But what's the point in eating in a certain way if we're only going to stick to it for 6 weeks? I like to promote a bit of balance, And what a lot of people don't understand about food, they don't understand balance, context, and moderation because not a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people are going about additives in food and how it's detrimental to our health. Everything is detrimental to our health if we overconsume it. And, look, if you have something like a pre-made protein shake like this, if we go through the ingredients list, when you look at an ingredients list, the first thing on the ingredients list makes up the largest proportion of the product. The last thing on the ingredients list makes up the smallest proportion of the product, right? This is ingredients, skimmed milk. So the main ingredients in this is skim milk, and it's over 90%. So over 90% of this product is skim milk, right? We then have milk protein concentrate. That will be about 5%. So over 95% of this bottle, which is 330 mil, so it's 330 grams. So what's 95% of 330? Right, let me get the old calculator out. Times 0.95. Right, so 313.5 grams of this, right, is milk or milk concentrate, which means the rest of the product is 16.5 grams. What else have we got in here? Water, right? So it's got some added water in there as well. Skim milk powder, oat fiber, right? Vitamins and mineral blend, vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, vitamin D2, things that are all fantastic for us, right? And then we get down to stabilizers. And a lot of people go, oh, stabilizers, emulsifiers, all these things. Stabilizers, emulsifiers, they all come under the same sort of thing. There'll be less than a gram or two in here, right? Out of 330 mil, less than a gram or two. The body won't even recognize them. So everyone's like, oh, stabilizers are bad for your gut health if overconsumed, right? So stabilizers, Galan gum, which is a natural leaf extract, right? Carrageenan, which is extracted from seaweed. Again, you might have seen people go on about carrageenan. There's two types of carrageenan. One is food grade, one isn't. The one that isn't food grade is detrimental to our health. This is food. The carrageenan in this is just a natural extract from seaweed. Causes you zero. It's basically insoluble fiber. It just goes straight through your system. The body doesn't even recognize it. Natural flavorings. Salt. It's got salt in it. Yeah, salt's good for you. Right? It's a sweetener. Sucralose. Again, a lot of people have a go at artificial flavorings. Sucralose is 600 times sweeter than sugar. Right? If there was 5 grams of sugar in this bottle, right, in terms of added sugar, like castor sugar, this would be sweet, right? So if we're using sucralose as a sweetener, that is 600 times. So that means there's 600 times less. The amount of sucralose in this, right, and it causes you zero harm anyway for the amount we consume it. It'll be like you wouldn't even be able to measure the amount really on a normal scale, right? But then someone it's got artificial sweetener in. We know that's bad for your gut health. There's not enough in here for the body to even think it's got. It wouldn't have a flipping clue, right? What else is in here? Colorings, beta carotene. I don't actually know what that is. Acidity regulator, sodium citrate, salt again, a type of salt. So people go on about things in here. This is predominantly milk and milk concentrate protein, which is why it's 25 grams of protein for 140 calories. And that makes up at least 95% of the product. The other bits and pieces, which is vitamin C, vitamin E, selenium, and vitamin D2, which is fantastic for us because it's added nutrition, right? And then the stabilizers, the sweetener, everything, probably a gram in total. Not enough for your gut health or your gut to even recognize it, especially if you eat a good amount of fiber, because that means everything just flows along nice and smooth, right? But your fearmongers will come on and have you believe that all this stuff is absolute garbage. So, I understand balance, I understand context, I understand moderation, but unfortunately, a lot of people have been brainwashed and they don't understand that. I'll only tell you the truth. All right. You certainly know your stuff. Denise, thank you very much. That's very kind of you to say. Do you know of any food or drink that improves skin health? Number one, hydration. Number one, hydration. Number two, collagen. You want to improve the health of your skin. Yeah, make sure you're hydrated and supplement some collagen every day. Right, beef collagen is probably the best one. If you're not a meat eater, you can get different. There are different types of collagen, but your beef collagen is about the best as you're going to get for your skin. Right, so supplement. Take a collagen capsule every day. Make sure you're hydrated, and then obviously you can moisturize your skin and with a good quality skincare and all this, that, and the other. But best thing for skin health: collagen water. Yeah, you don't need to overcomplicate things. 86 water retention. I'm on a calorie deficit and my weight keeps fluctuating. Sarah, that's just natural. Your weight will fluctuate all the time. You can't stop it and don't try and stop it. Right? And this is why if you weigh yourself every couple of weeks, Alexa, turn off office heater. If you weigh yourself every 2 weeks, yeah, and you're consistent, the fluctuations will be few and far between. If you're going to weigh yourself every day, you've just got to get used to fluctuations. They happen, right? And it's not something you need to stop, right? It's something you need to accept, right? You should never try and stop natural processes of the body. Some days you're going to have more food weight in your system than others. Some days you're going to have a bit more water retention in your body than others, right? It's just part of life, right? And you just need to get used to those fluctuations, yeah? Let me scan down, see if I missed anything. I don't think I have. Also, I'm nearly 3 stone down, but I look the same. That, Lindsay, that's psychological. Not one person in the world 3 stone down looks the same. If you start off at 40 stone and you lose 3 stone, you will look different. And this is why it's really important. As part of tracking your weight loss progress, you need to take photos, right? side on, frontal view once a month. You don't need to do them every week or anything like that. Once a month, the first day of every month or the first Saturday of every month, is take a front on photo and a side on photo, preferably in your underwear, so then you can see more of the contours of your body, right? And if you do that, yeah, you'll be absolutely you might see yourself. It's kind of like, I always use the analogy of kids, right? You see your children every single day. So you don't, you'd be like, oh, they've gone from a size 4 to a size 5 foot or whatever, or they've gone from, 6 to 7 years into 8 to 9 years clothes, or whatever like that. Yeah, you'll see those changes. But when you look at your kids and you see them every day, you don't actually see the difference. But if you've got relatives that you only see once a year, maybe at Christmas, that, when they come, oh, look at little Johnny. He was only this big last year. Look at him now. And you're like, oh, yeah, do you think he's grown? And he's like, yeah, he's like 5 inches taller than he was last year, and this, that, and the other. But because you see your kids every single day, you don't realise the changes. You see your body every day, so you don't realise the changes that are being made in it, because you just slowly, gradually get used to it. And this is why you need to keep. Oh, good morning. You've not come and said hello this morning, have you? Why? Because tell the group what you've been doing. You've been asleep, haven't you? You've been having a bobo. You've been flat out, Bowies. What have you been doing? You're going to do a big yawn in a minute. Yes, hello. I know you need when you wake up, you need a fuss, don't you? So you don't see the difference. But if you take pictures every month and then look at them, create a file, look at them, do a little flip book thing, scan, month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, you will see the difference. You really will see the difference. So take your pictures. I knew you were going to do a big yawn. You just woke up, and yeah. Should we go and get some breakfast? Daddy wants some breakfast. Do you want some breakfast? What are we going to have? We're going to have some chicken and bickies. You want chicken and bickies? Chicken and bickies. You got me out off. Right, let me scan up and refresh. Let me get my count. Right, I'm going 2 minutes. This is your 2-minute warning while Blossom's taking over my desk. She's beautiful. Oh, thank you very much. We love her to bits, don't we? Good morning, gorgeous Blossom. Blossom says good morning to you too, Maureen. Hang on. What do you think of fat burners? Hang on, let me just accept that comment. What do you think of fat burners? Waste of time. You might as well have a Monster Energy. All fat burners are stimulants, right? They increase your heart rate for a short period of time. And they do absolutely F all. It will not increase your fat burning. Some people think it does. It doesn't. I've fallen foul to them a few times. I've tried them. They don't make a jot of difference. You might as well just waste your money. They're just loaded with stimulants, caffeine. Right, and if you have a good amount of caffeine in your body, it will increase your heart rate a little bit. That in turn will increase your metabolism, and they're allowed to call them fat burners because if your metabolism increases a little bit, you're going to use a bit more energy. But remember, fat burning and fat loss are two totally different things. You can burn fat 10 hours a day. You eat the same calories as you burn, you will not lose a single ounce. Right, that is me. I am out of here. It has been an absolute pleasure as always. Guys, I'm not back on today. I will be on at 5 for the weight loss coaching live, and I'm talking about your diet, how to I can't remember what I've called it, how to structure or how to get the balance of your diet right, I think I've called it. Anyway, that's at 5 p.m. on the Zoom. If you're on Planner in the community, I'll send the links out early afternoon, and I'll send the direct link out just to come and join the Zoom at 5 p.m. Other than that, I will be back. I don't know when I'll be back, to be honest with you. Officially, I am back Monday morning. Officially, I'm back Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Right, that's when I'm officially back. But I might try and get on and do a social media live tomorrow. It won't be scheduled. It will be impromptu. If you're on Planning the Community, I'll broadcast it out and let you know if I'm coming live. But I'll just see where things are going. If I go to the gym early again tomorrow morning, I might jump on at 8:30 tomorrow morning and do another live. I'll just play it by ear and see where we end up. If not, I will definitely be back Thursday at 9:30 a.m. I won't be on Thursday. Got hospital, not a problem, Kelly. Obviously, I hope everything goes right with your hospital appointment. Right. Have a great Tuesday, whatever you're doing. And if you're on planning the community, and if you're not, come and join the community. It's £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. You can come and take part in the live at 5 p.m. if you want to watch it. You get a full calorie breakdown from me. You get access to a really good support network. Probably, it's just amazing. It really, really is. Weight Loss Coaching Live, Zoom session tomorrow. So if you're like, Neil, I can't wait until Thursday morning for another live because you keep me motivated and you keep me going on my journey. You don't need to. If you're in the community, £5 for your first month using code WELCOME. You can see me at 5 p.m. tonight. You can see me 7:30, 8 p.m. tomorrow night on the Zoom session. And then obviously we'll be back Thursday morning. Anyway, have a great day, TikTok. I will definitely see you, if not before, 9:30 a.m. Thursday morning. And to you lovely people over on YouTube, Facebook, exactly the same. I will see you Thursday. If I don't see you beforehand, I will see you Thursday morning about 9:30 a.m. Have a great couple of days if I don't see you.